What's up, everybody? It's Corey, host of the Grease Pole Podcast. Wanted to welcome you to a new weekly series we're going to be doing here on the YouTube channel. And if you've listened to the pod at all since we began just prior to the 2020 NFL Draft, the NFL Draft is my cocaine, all right? I love that shit. It's my favorite sporting event each and every year. So I figured, why not, put a mock together each and every week and put it out here just so we can get kind of an idea of the different scenarios and the various things that Howie Roseman might be looking at and we as Eagles fans may be looking at when April 27th, 28th, and 29th roll around for the 2023 NFL Draft. And there's only 6 picks, right? But with Howie at GM, there could always be a lot of moving and shaking, okay? So those 6 picks you go in with is probably not going to be the way things finally play out. But for now, we're going to kind of play with them each and every week, do a mock, and just see kind of how different scenarios present themselves, how the draft might fall, and things of that nature, and kind of take a look at a different concept each and every week. And first one I wanted to do was kind of a best player available approach, not from Howie Roseman's standpoint, but as if I were the GM, right? So this is kind of my board, just best player available at each of these 6 picks. And the great thing now is that there's mock draft simulators online, okay? These were all done via Pro Football Focus's mock draft simulator, which I love. It's the perfect thing to do if you've got a couple minutes to kill. I love this shit. I wish it were around sooner in my life because I would spend a lot more time wasting it doing simulated mock drafts. So instead, let's get content out of them and begin the first weekly mock draft in the Eagles weekly mock series, where we're on the clock with the 10th pick in the draft. And with the 10th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Lucas Van Ness, edge rusher out of Iowa. And look, full disclosure, I've developed a man crush for Van Ness over the course of the past month. He's built like an Adonis, and he could end up as the best of this loaded group of edge rushers after Will Anderson. And I've seen people go, well, he wasn't even a starter in college. Don't give a shit. Watch the tape, okay? And the way he can bend the edge and maintain his balance. He's powerful as fuck. He knows how to use his hands, which measured at 11 inches in Indianapolis. He's got catcher's mitts to work with. So you can imagine that's going to be a task for O-linemen, even at the NFL level. Once Van Ness gets his hands on him, he showed up big at the combine. Weighing in at 272 pounds and running a 4.58. He's not going to be there when you're on the clock again at 30. So if Howie's as high on him as I am, and he's got all the traits that Howie loves, you take him here and add some youth to the edge to go along with Haason Reddick. With the 30th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Deonte Banks, cornerback out of Maryland. And I don't know that Banks is going to be here at 30, but here he was. So these big body physical corners are heavy at the top of this draft, and they've been going high in years recently. If Howie opts to wait on a corner at 10, a guy like Banks at 30 is damn sure a nice consolation. And in a class of corners that's deep, he not only stood out on tape in 2022, but followed it up with an outstanding combine with a 4.35 40 and jumped out of Lucas Oil Stadium in both the vertical and the broad jump. He's a guy that you can line up outside or in the slot. He's also a willing and capable tackler as well, which is always a welcome element on an Eagles defense. Second round, 62nd overall pick in the draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Zach Charbonnet, running back out of UCLA. Now, I know the Birds are reportedly good with Kenny Gainwell as the potential starting running back, but the likely loss of Miles Sanders does make the committee approach at running back less effective. In terms of running backs in this draft, there's Bijan Robinson, and then there's everybody else. But Charbonnet is among the best of those that are likely to be day 2 picks. He's been a workhorse for Chip Kelly's offense, and while that's not a requirement for Nick Sirianni's offense, it's nice to know that he at least can be. He's a guy that you can give 15 to 20 touches a game without hesitation, and he's also got that ability to catch and run out of the backfield that Sirianni likes. He doesn't have, blazing fucking speed, but he did rank 9th, so he was in the top 10 out of all running backs at the combine with a 4.53 40 time, and he did measure in at 6 foot, so he's got some size to him as well to counteract it in his favor. I like Kenny Gainwell. I do. But I really like Charbonnet at this spot, depending on how the board looks. Third round, 94th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. The Philadelphia Eagles select Keanu Benton, defensive tackle out of Wisconsin. Recently, Louis Riddick of ESPN likened him to Chris Jones. And I'm not big on player comps. I know Riddick isn't either. But you can kind of see and understand the comparison in terms of style of play. You like to see the ability that he showed during his time in Madison as a guy that's disruptive and can pressure the quarterback from the interior. He's got violent hands. You'll notice that initial punch to the pads and how effective it is. You want that versatility in new defensive coordinator Sean Desai's defense. He can line up in the A gap or B gap. 6'4", 315. Benton's got the size you want in a D tackle. And when you've got an aging Fletcher Cox, probable free agent Javon Hargrave, and you're not entirely sure what you've got yet in Jordan Davis, you know how he loves to give attention to the D tackle spot. And this is a good way to replenish that depth. Let's go to the compensatories. 7th round, 221st pick. The Philadelphia Eagles select Max Duggan, quarterback out of TCU. TCU had a hell of a run until they ran into Georgia, right? Fucking buzzsaw. But Duggan got himself back on track with a nice showing at the Combine. It was there that he also said that his game most resembles Jalen Hurts of any quarterback in the NFL. And look, Duggan isn't the prospect that even Hurts was when he came out, but you love to see the confidence, and reality is that they're not the same, but they do have some similarities. Duggan's also an effective dual threat guy, having thrown for almost 3,700 yards with 32 touchdowns, along with over 400 yards and 9 touchdowns on the ground in 2022. He's got the intangible stuff that you want at the quarterback position. He's a leader. And, for whatever it's worth, hardware, finished as the runner-up for the Heisman this past season, but walked away with the Davey O'Brien Award as college football's best quarterback. He may not last this long in late April, but if he does, he's kind of a perfect developmental guy. You saw the difference in the offense with Gardner Minshew under center when Jalen Hurts missed 2 games, the contrast in styles of play. You wouldn't get that with Duggan, who has a similar style of play to Jalen Hurts. 7th round, 250th pick, the Philadelphia Eagles select Nesta Jade Silvera, defensive tackle out of Arizona State. Former Miami Hurricane, and he had himself a nice week at the Senior Bowl. 6'1", 305. He's got good size, and he's coming off the best year of his college career in Tempe, where he set career highs essentially across the board in terms of his stat line. He's got power, he's disruptive, and at this point in the draft, when you're basically literally at the ass end of it, you're looking for depth. And at the minimum, Silvera's another good rotational piece to keep cycling that youth along the interior of that defensive line. So there you have it. What are your thoughts on the mock? First one, what do you think of these picks? Let us know in the comments section. And if you've done any mocks yourself, feel free to share the results with us as we dive head on into NFL Draft Talk here on the channel and on the pod as well. So if you're draft obsessed as well, drop a like and make sure to hit that subscribe button as we look forward to bringing you a shit ton of content on the upcoming draft, as well as weekly mock drafts, as we said, for the Eagles to get several different looks at how draft weekend could unfold. We'll see you next time. As always, go Birds.